Hello and welcome to the fourth and final unboxing for the Commander 2017 product. We're now onto the 5-colour Dragon Tribal Draconic Domination deck, which has the Dragon as the lead commander. So let's open this up and see what we've got inside. So here's our oversized foil card for the deck. The Dragon is a 10/10 legendary creature dragon avatar. As you've seen in the other videos, in this pack you get a insert which basically describes how to play the deck, the sort of strategies behind the deck, and then a little bit of backstory here. And then we've got our quick reference guide, and the pack effectively becomes the deck box. As with the other decks, I go through the deck and obviously read out any rares and mythics, and also concentrate a bit on the mana base, because it's really interesting how they fix in this deck for 5 colours, what sort of non-basic lands they have, and what sort of artifact fixing they might have in here. So the Dragon is 4 white, blue, black, red, green, so full Wooburg there. It's a legendary creature, dragon avatar. It's a 10/10. It has eminence. As long as the Dragon is in the command zone or on the battlefield, other dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. It has flying, and whenever one or more dragons you control attack, draw that many cards, then you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. So the first alternate we have here is, I think that's Kagachi, Vengeful Kami, and it's 1 white, blue, black, red, green. For a legendary creature, dragon spirit, it's 6/6 with flying and trample. Whenever Kagachi, Vengeful Kami deals combat damage to a player, if that player attacked you during his or her last turn, exile target non-land permanent that player controls. And then our other alternate general is an artifact creature, and this is Ramos Dragon Engine. It's 6 colourless, 6 generic mana to cast. It's a legendary artifact creature dragon. It's 4/4 with flying. Whenever you cast a spell, put a 1/1 counter on Ramos Dragon Engine. For each of that spell's colours, remove 5 +1/+1 counters from Ramos. Add white, white, black, black, white, white, blue, blue, black, black, red, red, green, green. To your mana pool, activate this ability only once every turn, or once each turn. Then we have our double-sided tokens. So we've got gold and a dragon. Gold and a dragon. Gold and a dragon. Cat dragon and a regular dragon. Cat dragon token and a regular cat dragon. And so these look like they're all cat dragons on one side, and I've got a couple more gold ones here. Cat dragon, dragon, gold, and dragon. And then finally gold and a cat dragon. Okay, So first up we've got some non-rare cards. So we've got Curse of Verbosity, Curse of Opulence, Curse of Bounty, Herald's Horn, Mirror of the Forebears, Orator of Ojutai, Dragon Lord's Servant, Dragon Speaker Shaman, Cultivates in here, Elemental Bond, and Farseek. So with green in the deck, of course, that's one way we're going to get fixing for the 5 colour. Yeah, 5 colours of land in here. Kadama's Reach, Rain of Thorns, Savage Ventmaw, Armillary Sphere, there's Commander Sphere in here as well, Darksteel Ingot, Dreamstone Hedron, Lightning Greaves, Nail Spellbomb, a Soul Ring, our Wayfinder's Bauble, and then we've got some of our basic lands here. We've got our mountains, and now moving on to some rares. We have Fortunate Few, which is 3 white sorcery. Choose a non-land permanent you don't control, then each other player chooses a non-land permanent he or she doesn't control that hasn't been chosen this way. Destroy all other non-land permanents. Scale Lord Reckoners, 3 and 2 white for 4/4 dragon, creature dragon. Has flying. Whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. Kindred Discovery, 3 and 2 blue enchantment. As Kindred Discovery enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. Boneyard Scourge, 2 and 2 black for 4/3 creature zombie dragon with flying. Whenever a dragon you control dies while Boneyard Scourge is in your graveyard, you may pay 1 and a black. If you do, return Boneyard Scourge from your graveyard to the battlefield. Territorial Hellkites, 2 and 2 red for 6/5 creature dragon with flying and haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose an opponent at random that Territorial Hellkite didn't attack during your last combat. Territorial Hellkite attacks that player this combat if able. If you can't choose an opponent this way, tap Territorial Hellkite. Fractured Identity, 3 white blue sorcery. Exile target non-land permanent. Each player other than its controllers creates a token that's a copy of it. Tagum Ojutai Master, 2 white blue 3/4 creature, legendary creature, human monk. Instant sorcery and dragon spells you control can't be countered by spells or abilities. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, if Tagum Ojutai Master attack this turn, that spell gains rebound. We've got Wizitari Nikori Queen, 2 black, red, green for a legendary creature, cat wizard. It's a 5/4 flying trample. Whenever Wistori Nikori Queen deals combat damage to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. If the player can't, you create a 3/3 black, red and green cat dragon creature token with flying. Rusai the Falling Star, 5 and a red for 5/5 legendary creature dragon spirit with flying. When Rusai the Falling Star dies, it deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. Scourge of the Valkas, 2 and 3 red for a 4/4 creature dragon with flying. When Scourge of the Valkas or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. For single red, Scourge of the Valkas deals +1/+0 until end of turn. That's a 4/4. Atvari Hellkite, 6 and 2 red for 6/6 creature dragon with flying. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, create a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying. Sunscorched Regent, 3 and 2 white for a 4/3 creature dragon with flying. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Sunscorched Regent and you gain 1 life. Monastery Siege, 2 and a blue enchantment. As Monastery Siege enters the battlefield, choose Khans or dragons. If you choose Khans at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card, then discard a card. If you choose dragons, spells your opponents can cast that target you or a permanent you control cost 2 more to cast. Crux of Fate, 3 and 2 black for a sorcery. You choose one, destroy all dragon creatures or destroy all non-dragon creatures. Deathbringer Regent, 5 and 2 black for a 5/6 creature dragon with flying. When Deathbringer Regent enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand and there are 5 or more other creatures on the battlefield, destroy all other creatures. Painful Truth, 2 and a black sorcery with Converge. You draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of colours of mana spent to cast Painful Truth. Palace Siege, 3 and 2 black for an enchantment. As Palace Siege enters the battlefield, choose Khans or dragons. If you choose Khans, at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If you choose dragons, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Crucible of Fire, 3 and a red enchantment. Dragon creature you control get +3/+3. Dragon Tempest, 1 and a red enchantment. Whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, it gains haste until end of turn. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. Earthquake's in here, so X and a red. Earthquake deals X damage to each creature without flying and each player. Hellkite Charger, 4 and 2 red for a 5/4 creature dragon with flying and haste. Whenever Hellkite Charger attacks, you may pay 5 and 2 red. If you do, untap all attacking creatures, and after this phase there is an additional combat phase. Tyrant's Familiar, 5 and 2 red for a 5/5 creature dragon with flying and haste. Also has Lieutenant on it. As long as you control your commander, Tyrant's Familiar gains +2/+2 and has, whenever Tyrant's Familiar attacks, it deals 7 damage to target creature defending player controls. Frontier Siege, 3 and a green enchantment. As Frontier Siege enters the battlefield, choose Khans or dragons. If you choose Khans, at the beginning of each of your main phases, add 2 green to mana pool. If you choose dragons, whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, you may have it fight a target creature you don't control. Another legendary creature here, we've got Ataka World Render in the deck. So that's 5 red-green for a 6/4 legendary creature dragon with flying and trample. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. Bladewing the Risen is in here. 3 and 2 black, 3, 2 black, 2 red for a legendary creature zombie dragon. It's 4/4 with flying. When Bladewing the Risen enters the battlefield, you may return target dragon permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Black and a red, dragon creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. Broodmate Dragons in here, 3 black, red, green for a 4/4 creature dragon with flying. When Broodmate Dragon enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. Crosis the Purger, 3 blue, black, red, legendary creature dragon, 6/6 with flying. Whenever Crosis the Purger deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and a black. If you do, choose a colour, and that player reveals his or her hand and discards all cards of that colour. Dramoka the Eternal, 3 green white for a 5/5 legendary creature dragon with flying. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, bolster 2. So you choose a creature with the least toughness among creatures you control and put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. In it the Dreamer, 3 blue, red, green for 6/6 legendary creature dragon with flying. Whenever In it the Dreamer deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and a blue. If you do, exile the top card of your library face down. You may look at the card for as long as it remains exiled. You may play that card without playing its mana cost for as long as In it remains on the battlefield. Kolagan the Storm's Fury, 3 black red for a 4/5 legendary creature dragon with flying. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. It has dash, so 3 black red. You may cast a spell for its dash cost. If you do, it gains haste, and it's returned from the battlefield to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Mythic Draconic Domination, I think that is. 2 blue, 2 red for a legendary creature, dragon wizard. It's a 5/5 with flying. Whenever mythic Draconic deals damage to a player, you may draw a card. Blue and a red. mythic Draconic deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Ojutai Soul of Winter, 5 white, blue, 5/6 legendary creature dragon with flying and vigilance. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, tap target non-land permanent opponent controls. That permanent doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Sign of the Dragon is actually in here. So I was wondering whether they would put that in here. So prior to this new card, the Dragon, this was the 5-color dragon. So legendary creature dragon avatar, flying, to search your library for a dragon permanent card and put it into your graveyard. If you do, Sign of the Dragon becomes a copy of that card until end of turn, then shuffle your library. Silumgar the Drifting Death, 4 blue black for a 3/7 legendary creature dragon with flying and hexproof. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, creatures defending player controls get -1/-1 until end of turn. Spellbound Dragon, 3 blue red for a 3/5 creature dragon with flying. Whenever Spellbound Dragon attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. Spellbound Dragon gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the discarded card's converted mana cost. Teneb the Harvester, 3 black, green, white for a legendary creature dragon with 6/6 flying. When Teneb the Harvester deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and a black. If you do, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So now we move on to some artifacts. We've got Fist of Suns, so 3 generic mana. It's an artifact. You may pay white, blue, black, red, green rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. Still Hellkite's in here, 6 generic, artifact creature dragon. It's 5/5 with flying. For 2 generic, Steel Hellkite gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Or X generic, destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost X whose controller was dealt combat damage by Steel Hellkite this turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. So we've got some non-basic lands now. We've got Crucible of the Spirit Dragon. So we can tap it, add colourless to our mana pool. For 1 generic tap, put a storage counter on Crucible of the Spirit Dragon. We could tap it, remove X storage counters from Crucible of the Spirit Dragon, add X mana in any combination of colours to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast dragon spells or activate abilities of dragons. So pretty useful in this deck. We've got Haven of the Spirit Dragon. So this one, you can tap it, add colours to your mana pool. Tap, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast dragons creature spells. And 2 generic, tap, sacrifice Haven of the Spirit Dragon. Return target dragon creature card or Ugin Planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. And some more non-basic lands. Oh, sorry, some more basic lands. Really love the artwork on this particular choice of lands here. So we're going to see, we got our basic lands. So some more non-basics. Path of Ancestry, we've seen this before. Enters the battlefield tapped, and this is another one where you can add 1 mana to your mana pool of any colour in your commander's identity, commander's colour identity. So in this case, all 5 colours for this deck. But also it's got this scry 1 on it, so whenever that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, you can scry for 1. Arcane Sanctum. So we've got a 3-colour land here, tricolour land. Enters the battlefield taps for white, blue or black, so I won't be surprised if we see a few of these. We've got Command Tower in here, another non-basic land that its mana production is based on the colour identity of our commander. Crumbling Necropolis, so here's a tricoloured land or tap tricolour land for blue, black, red. Then Frontier Bivouac is one for green, blue, red. Jungle Shrine, red, green, white. Mystic Monastery is blue, red, white. Nomad Outpost is red, white, black. Opulent Palace is black, green, blue. Sandsteep Citadel is white, black, green. Savage Lands, black, red, green. Seaside Citadel, green, white, blue. So I was wondering how they were going to fix for the 5 colour, and they've gone for the so that's the lands that were in the tricolour lands that were in the Shards of Alara block, and the tricolour lands that were in the Khans block. So I've got some vivids here, maybe got the full set here. So with the vivids, they enter the battlefield tap with 2 charge counters on them. You can tap them for their colour. In this case, Vivid Crag is for red. And you can tap them, remove a charge counter from Vivid Crag, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. It's got Vivid Crag, Vivid Creek, which is the blue one. The green one's Vivid Grove. The black one is Vivid Marsh, and the white one is Vivid Meadow. So that's basically how they're dealing with the 5 colours in this deck. So there we have it. A very interesting deck. What I like about this is that, you know, if part of your reason for buying this deck is to springboard you into Dragon Tribal, then you can see there's a whole slew of like classic, Dragon Tribal commanders in there. So you could, just starting with this deck, and to a certain degree with the other deck for the particular tribe they're in, but I think particularly leaps out in this deck because of the sort of classic legendary creatures that are in this one. You could almost build like a Dragon Tribal toolkit with this, and then go down all sorts of angles. As I pointed out, there's the original sort of 5 colour Dragon in there, and I've seen a number of interesting builds of that. So yeah, lots of really opportunities to develop your deck building skills. So there we have it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.